my top 5 animes and why. I can't find the comment now, but there was this person that was like hounding me every day to do this, and I like the idea, especially because my top 5 has recently changed. So let's get into it. So my 5th and 4th place could swap, but I'm just gonna do the one that is shorter because I can't really decide. In 5th place, we've got Frieren Beyond the Journey's End. And this show, so good. I always say it's underrated, and people are like, it's not underrated, it's so hyped up, it's overrated. I know that it does really well in ratings, but what I'm trying to say is I don't see many people talk about it on this app and online in general. It is so good. If you have not seen that show, you need to go watch it. It's a little bit slow, but if you're like an action anime person, it might not be for you. But if you're a person who actually really enjoys shows that like rip your heart out and make you cry with really good action, this show's amazing. The rewatch is better than the first watch in my opinion, because to me, the majesty and the beauty of Frieren is the emotional side of it, which I'm not going to say anything more of because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it. But there will be a moment where it hits the first watch through and you'll be like, whoa, this is insane. So that is why Frieren is my number 5. Let's go to number 4. In 4th place, we've got Demon Slayer. This one has recently very much climbed my ranks. And I've been like reluctant to have it up there because I was determined not to like it as much as I do. But I hate to say it. I think it has the best animation of all of my favorites. I don't necessarily like how the characters are drawn, but the fight scenes and everything, like the animation is like insanely good. I also love the characters so much in the show, like more than I think I even realized. Like it kind of snuck up on me, and the more I think about it, I'm like, I freaking love Tanjiro. I freaking love Inosuke. And I just like the world. The vibes are amazing in that show. I like the villains. I love the way that Tanjiro always like sees the good even in the demons. It's insane. And then Inosuke just makes me laugh harder than any character in, I want to say any show ever, but definitely any anime ever. Like I laugh at him every single scene, very hard, very authentically, very genuinely. He makes me so happy. And then yeah, mostly vibes. Like the vibes of that show are just so good. Not to mention I really like the fight scenes. I just like it. Okay, that's my number 4. On to number 3. Before we get into number 3, this is going to blow some of your minds. Number 2 and 3 could be changed. I'm just going to put the one ahead that I have more hope for. So number 3, we have Jujutsu Kaisen, which is going to be insane if you've been following me for a while because I was pretty determined that this wasn't going to change anytime soon. I just love Jujutsu Kaisen. And I know that like technically on paper, there's nothing like overly deep about it. The plot isn't anything like crazy. It's pretty like typical shonen anime, but it's good. Like I'm sick of people saying that it sucks. It's good. The animation is really good. The characters are really lovable. The fight scenes, in my opinion, are the best. The action scenes in that short, everything. I also really like the concept. Like some of the basic stuff that they do are basic for a reason. They're really good. I've said that before. I'll say it again. And the characters are really lovable. The vibes of that show are insane. The music's insane. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I stand by that. Only reason it's at number 3 is because I'm a little mad at it right now. If you haven't read the manga, feel free to skip forward just a little bit to the next one. But if you have, I just don't like the way that it ended. I just think more than like, oh, Gojo's not coming back. I actually understand him dying. I just think it was a careless ending. It was a rushed ending. Not necessarily Sukuna dying. I just feel like they fought him too long and had too short of a conclusion. I feel like Gege was just like, and I want to move on. And I just don't respect that. So I'm hoping when the anime comes out, they do it in a way that it doesn't feel that way. And if that's the case, it could climb again because I love those characters a lot. Like a lot. And the other thing I do struggle with is I feel like they spent too much time on the Cooling Games characters and like had like Megumi and like Nobara and like all of our goats like kind of sidelined, and then had all the Cooling Games characters die, and then we got like no character development for our mains as far as I see. I didn't read the manga super thoroughly though, so maybe that's just incorrect. Please tell me if it is, because I love the show and my heart's breaking. But yeah, that's my beef with JJK. On to number 2. And number 2, we have got My Hero Academia, which if you've been here for any amount of time, again, you're going to be kind of freaking out at this. But yeah, it has climbed my ranks all the way to number 2 at this point. I just can't deny, and maybe it's the fact that it's 8 seasons versus 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Super possible. Way more context. I just can't deny that I freaking love the character development. I love the characters. Second best action anime in my opinion. And there are like bitsy love stories, which if you know me, I care about that a lot. I'm so sick of just like the like ambiguity of animes. Like I'm so sick of it. Like I just want to know. I like a love story. Okay, I like it. And there are lots of like potential ships. I love all of that. But that's not the point. That's like the most minor point. I got too far into that. The point is that I love the Endeavor arc. I love the Todoroki arc. I love the Dabi. I love the Shoto. I love all of those things. And I love me a good redemption arc because of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is my favorite show ever. And it just feels a little bit like that. The Todorokis kind of feel like the royal family in Avatar. And the only complaint I have about that show is the fan service, which, if you know me, that makes complete sense. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it again. It has the most fan service of any show I've ever personally tried, and I can't stand it. So literally, if it weren't for that, it would easily be my number 2, and it would be pretty close to my number 1. I love My Hero Academia so much. I can't believe I didn't try it for so long because the fandom's so crazy. Don't let it ruin the show for you. That show is so dang good. Okay, on to my number 1. You know it, you love it, you see it coming. The GOAT, Attack on Titan. Yeah, I know, I'm a new gen girl. That's what I like. Sorry, not sorry. This show is unlike any of the other animes. Like, it just is. It has no fan service. It has no weird, creepy... minus that one Armin scene, which is so weird. But anyways, the point is, it has all of the things that I traditionally like and very little of the things that I usually don't like. Not to mention, if you're going to try to diss on AOT and say it's mid, that's simply incorrect. You could say you don't like it. I understand being like, it's just not for me. That's fair, but it's not mid. The writing is insane. They don't make animes quite like this. Like, it's very untraditional shonen anime tropes, like all of those things. It breaks out of all of those things. The plot is just insane. It's just insane. If you think that it sucks, you simply didn't understand it or take the time to figure out a theory or ways that you like to understand it, because the end is up for interpretation. So there is no amount of like, it sucks. It may be too ballsy for you of an ending, and I understand that as well, but it's not bad. It's not overglazed. It's not like these things that people complain about with Attack on Titan, I simply don't think have actual validity. I think having validity is, I don't like it. It's not for me. Anyways, that's my take on Attack on Titan. I think it's incredible. I will someday try the big 3. I will do it. I'm braving right now to start Naruto. My brother's watching it and he's loving it. He says it's old, which I've always struggled with, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favorite, and it's like in early 2000s, so maybe I could open my heart to it. And yeah, I only started watching anime like last September, and I feel like this is a pretty freaking good list for now. As always, I will keep updating these because I am watching anime at such a rapid rate that there's a high possibility it changes, but this is where it's at for right now. If you strongly disagree, feel free to say in the comments what your top 5 is, but do it kindly because there's really no need to beef over my favorite animes. It's simply my opinion.